Good evening and welcome to WALT 44 News. I'm your host, Marlene Hartline, and joining me tonight is my co-host, Chris Hartline. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, Marlene. Glad to be here. So let's get started on today's news. First up, tonight's focus will be an in-depth beach report. And there seems to be a lot going on these few weeks at the beach, Marlene.
Oh, Chris, there is a lot going on. You know, our first report from the beach is some pretty interesting news, as there seems to have been a creature spotted out in the water on several occasions. Several tourists have spotted the creature, which hasn't caused any harm, but authorities are still unsure exactly what it is. The Fort Walton Beach Police Department says that if you happen to stumble upon this creature, please keep your distance and report the sighting to local authorities.
Wow, that's scary. On a further note, it has also been reported that a strange outbreak of bronchitis has hit the beach. Tourists have been plagued with sore throats and sleepless nights. Several tourists has been seen at the beach today with cough drops and honey lemon tea. That is a sight you definitely do not want to see on the beach often. To learn more about this outbreak, let's check out our on-site reporter, Beverly Manazari. Beverly, what can you tell us?
Well, I woke up to go get me a cold pop, and then I thought somebody was barbecuing. I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Then I ran out. I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus. I ran for my life. And then the smoke got me. I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Thank you, Beverly. As you can see, this bronchitis outbreak has to be taken very seriously, because as the interview mentioned, no one has time for bronchitis.
They sure don't, sweet Jesus.
Well, on to more news and events that are taking place. The beach is definitely going to be crowded. There are many events going on. The first that we're going to talk about that is currently taking place is the Fort Walton Beach Modeling Contest. Models have been spotted strutting their stuff from Pensacola to the Okaloosa Island Pier. The modeling event will last through the weekend and is expected to draw quite a crowd. So anyone that is planning to go to the beach should take this in consideration. Chris, that sure was some nice eye candy.
Yes, Marlene, it certainly was. I may have to get out there this weekend. This leads us into our next story, Marlene, and that is, with all the events taking place this weekend and last weekend, the authorities are reminding everyone to be on the lookout for people drinking too much alcohol. Last weekend, several partygoers dressed up and were spotted not only drinking huge quantities of alcohol, but also seen drinking over-the-counter cold medicine. Ingredients such as this were spotted at the Gulf Breeze Zoo, as well as on the beach.
Seems like people will just do anything these days, Chris.
Sure does, Marlene. What else do we have going on this weekend?
Well, Chris, this week our very own Storm and Norman will be heading to one of our viewers' house to host a barbecue. WALT 44 will pay for all of the expenses, and Storm and Norman will broadcast live from the barbecue. And this week's winner is the Scortis family. They're from the Azure Condo 502. The Scortis family says they love to barbecue, and nothing stands in their way when it comes to barbecuing. Rain or shine, these guys take their barbecue serious. So congratulations to the Scortis family. We look forward to hosting your barbecue with our very own Storm and Norman next Friday evening.
Sounds like a fun event, Marlene. Storm and Norman sure has a rough job, LOL. Marlene, we want to do a few follow-up stories from last week's Pet of the Week. Let's go live to our Huntsville correspondent, Ellen Pampered Chef Lindsay.
Thanks, Marlene and Chris. As you mentioned, we now want to follow up on our pet adoption story from last week. If you remember, our local kennel brought in a Beverly Hills Chihuahua, and it needed a good home. We're happy to report that it was adopted and mailed out to Huntsville, Alabama, to Miss Hannah Lindsay. Hannah sent us this nice picture of her and her new puppies. When we asked Hannah about how the puppies were handling the heat down here in Florida compared to their new home in Huntsville, Alabama, Hannah was quoted as saying, "The puppies will be fine as long as they are in the shade score." This is Ellen, the Pampered Chef Lindsay, for WALT 44. Back to you, Marlene and Chris.
Thanks, PC. You know, that's a great story, Chris. Those puppies sure looked happy at their new home.
They sure do.
Next up, Chris, we want to tell you about a local group that will be performing at the Sand Dollar Festival next weekend. The local group, the Pillboxes, will be performing at the Dunkin' Donuts stage at 7 p.m. next Friday. This group is widely known in the Fort Walton Beach area and will be performing some of their most popular hits that include Rise and Shine, My Pink Disney Fishing Pole, Stepped on a Hook in the Ocean, and their biggest hit as of yet is Stuck on the Other Side of the Bridge. You know, Chris, this is really going to be a good show. I've seen these girls perform before, and they are one good trio.
Sounds like a great show. Should be a lot of fun. Speaking of Sand Dollar Festival, our very own Olympic swimmer, Landon Lindsay, will be there on Saturday from 1 to 3, signing autographs. Landon will be detailing how he trains as well. One of his more intensive training workouts to date is bouncing down the shoreline in the water from the Okaloosa Pier all the way to Pensacola. That is a huge feat, but Landon made it look easy. He is quite the swimmer, Marlene.
Yes, he is, Chris. You know, I met Landon last year, and he's a little quiet, but you have to admire his determination. He's a really great guy, and it's a great story. You know, speaking of Landon, his best friend, Chris Brantley, is going to be serving and sampling his famous stir fry at the Sand Dollar Festival as well. His stir fry is known around the world. Chris was asked how he developed the recipe, and he mentioned it was just by accident, and he really didn't even know what stir fry was several months ago. He said it was a great discovery and says the stir fry is even better with a touch of Tabasco. You know, I've tried the stir fry before, Chris, and I can tell you that it is good.
What a great festival this is going to be, Marlene. I always look forward to the Sand Dollar Festival every year. It is almost too good to be even true. Marlene, this festival is huge, and we want to take the time to recognize a few of our sponsors for this year's Sand Dollar Festival. The first sponsor is Waytag Dryers. Are you tired of having to run the dryer 2 or 3 cycles to dry your clothes? Well, Waytag Dryers has the answer for you. In the past 2 years, Waytag has been working hard to develop a dryer that not only will require 1 cycle to dry your clothes, yes, that is right, 1 cycle. Your clothes will be dry. It's a huge innovation that we are proud to introduce to the market. Stop by the Waytag booth this weekend at the Sand Dollar Festival to see the dryer in action.
The next sponsor up, Chris, is You Need an Inside Lock. The guys down at You Need an Inside Lock are working hard to overhaul the Azure condos currently, and they will have several condos open to view at the festival this weekend to showcase this brand new idea of putting locks on the inside of your doors. You Need an Inside Lock is hoping that this display will start a revolution in the condo industry and hopes that visitors will understand the importance of this great idea.
Next up is Harry Tees. Stop by booth 987 to sample our head-on shrimp that is to die for. They are the best shrimp on the Gulf, and for more of this great shrimp, stop by Harry Tees on the water. Mention the Sand Dollar Festival and receive a basket of these shrimp for only $30. Harry Tees, not just a restroom, but a great restaurant where we just want to be happy and not ill.
Those are some really great sponsors, Chris. Our next one is the pop-up towel. Have you ever been sitting on the balcony when the rain comes slanting in on you? So much for the balcony overhang. What you need is pop-up towel. This handy towel can be taken anywhere, and if you run into a pop-up shower, boom, you're instantly shielded from the weather. So stop by booth 342 at the festival, right next to the Whataburger, and check out this new product. As I mentioned, Chris, these are some great sponsors. You know, it's really amazing what they have.
Before we sign off on tonight's broadcast, we all know that many people celebrate the anniversaries down here at Fort Walton Beach. And from time to time, we like to showcase these. This weekend, we would like to celebrate Corey and Sherry on their 2-year anniversary. They stayed with us here at Fort Walton Beach for 2 glorious weeks. So, happy anniversary, guys, and hope you had a great time.
That's a really good-looking couple, Chris. You know, they look like they were made for each other. Almost makes you want to slap yourself in the face with a beach chair. Well, Chris, that will conclude tonight's broadcast from WALT 44. We hope all of you out there will join Chris and I next week as we're going to be hitting the road to do a special broadcast live from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. You certainly do not want to miss this episode. Gatlinburg is a one-of-a-kind place where you can get pancakes, moonshine, airbrush t-shirts, and practically anything carved out of a piece of wood. So until next week, this is Marlene.
And this is Chris.
Please enjoy the few pictures from all the events taking plays at the beach this week as we sign off tonight. We both hope you have a great evening, and thank you for choosing WALT 44 for your most up-to-minute beach news.